We're back here in Massachusetts from Quincy's Market. By the Quincy Market is a great place to visit right now. We got two people very identified with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, people who know this state very well. The widow of Senator Ted Kennedy, Vicki Kennedy. She's here with me right now. Vicki, thank you for coming. And, of course, we got Tommy O'Neill, who's beginning to be frighteningly resembling his dad, Speaker Tip O'Neill, who's one of the real legends up here of all these years, and I was fortunate to work for him for a while. Let me ask you, Vicki, this whole question of Massachusetts and trying to get to the bottom of this state. Ted Kennedy was always reelected because it wasn't that he was a celebrity, it was he worked for the state.
Well, Massachusetts is just a wonderful, fabulous place to live, and people are concerned about the same things they're concerned about around the country. They're concerned about their families. They're concerned about their futures. I've been lucky enough to travel around just recently on behalf of Ed Markey. And we have an election tomorrow for the United States Senate. Ed Markey is on the ballot, and I hope everyone will go out and vote. It's very, very important for their futures. And I've been hearing the same things I heard when I was traveling around the state with Ted. People are worried about their futures. They're worried about what kind of future their children will have, what kind of future they will have. And those are the issues people are talking about. Those are the issues Ed Markey's been talking about.
You know, Tommy, this state, when I went to school up here, this other place, Holy Cross, back in the 60s, this place wasn't doing so well. And then with the help of government money and education and health care, the big hospitals, the big universities like MIT, BC, Harvard, and all the rest of them, this city bloomed. And all the infrastructure, your dad and Ted Kennedy showed how government can make a place grow and prosper like this place.
Let me say something to you, and I want to pick up where Vicki left off. This state historically, and these folks historically, have always, if you level with the people, they'll follow you. And this state of people have a history of electing people who are a little more progressive, perhaps, than even they are. But because they believe in them, because they understand that direction and that leadership is going to show to a higher ground, they're going to elect them. And that's her point about Eddie Markey. He's done exactly the same thing. He levels with them.
Ted Kennedy was known for Mr. Healthcare for, decades? And then he finally got in with his signature at the end. Obama, is that an issue of this campaign?
It's a huge issue. I saw Ed Markey push this issue. I was lucky enough to work with him on pushing this issue over the finish line. You know, when Teddy, in his last days, he knew he wasn't going to be here to see health care become a reality. And those of us who loved him committed ourselves to making sure that it became a reality. Ed Markey was one of those people. And I sat in his office with him as he had papers in front of him, as he had the strategy in front of him, as how we were going to get this to work for the people, how we were going to take care of children, how we were going to take care of seniors, how we were going to take care of families to make sure that no family was going to have to suffer and lose insurance when they got sick, how health care was going to be a right for everyone. And Ed Markey was as committed to that as anyone I have ever seen. And with his hard work, along with the other members of the House of Representatives, that passion was turned into law. And that's the same commitment he brings to all the issues that he works on. That's why I'm so passionate about supporting him.
Upsets are still possible. The state doesn't always vote Democrat. You had Republican governors, Bill Weld, people like that, pretty popular guys over the years.
Two good pieces of news tonight. Patrice Bergeron is going to play for the Bruins, number one. Yeah. And Eddie Markey is going to carry the day tomorrow with 8 to 10% of the vote. And I'm going to tell you why. He's been a workhorse in the U.S. House of Representatives for 37 years. He's not a showboat. He's a workhorse. And he's been there. He's filed legislation. He's provided leadership in every issue, every measure that you can give a man over 37 years in the U.S. House of Representatives. The key here is that you're going to have environmentalists, you're going to have women, you're going to have Latinos supporting Eddie Markey tomorrow. Latinos against a man who is a Latino, supported, by the way, in this town by the only Latino newspaper supporting Eddie Markey. There's a reason for it. The other guy hasn't said or done anything. There's no girth or width there. There's nothing.
Yeah, but he's got some points of view. Let me ask you about him. He's for the rights of people to have semi-automatic rifles. He has no. He doesn't want to ban. He doesn't want to ban on those big 30-round magazines. He wants that completely up to anybody can have that stuff. He doesn't believe in any kind of gun control.
Well, if you can believe that, and understand that he has that stand and he thinks he's right, and then he tells Eddie Markey not to use a slaughter in a school in Connecticut as an issue because it's unfair, I'd say there's something wrong with him.
I think he's out of step with the people of Massachusetts on that issue, without question. We have in this state some of the strongest gun safety laws on the books of any state in the country, and we have the lowest gun deaths in the country. And there's a reason for it, even though we have porous borders. And here we have a candidate who says that it's okay, that it's fun to have high-capacity magazines, a weapon that can fire 100 rounds in 2 minutes. I think that's out of step with the people of Massachusetts. Ed Markey has been on the cutting edge. He has been a positive voice for safety, not just gun safety, not just common sense gun safety, but internet safety, protecting our children online, for protecting our privacy in our cell phones, in our medical records. He's been on the cutting edge, forward thinking about problems really before we've thought about them.
What do you make of this focus up here? Because I've noticed we're up here for a reason, because this state, this Commonwealth, surprised the country when they elected Scott Brown a while back. What happens? Is it the bad candidate, the Democratic side, who's not that strong a candidate, he doesn't connect with the people? How do these upsets occur? Because there's a big concern, there has been. The reason Obama's been up here, Biden's been up here, Caroline Kennedy's been up here, Mrs. Obama's been up here. You don't want to lose this one if you're a Democrat.
Eddie Markey doesn't want to take anything for granted. He's going to take all the support he can find, and he's going to put it to work so that he wins tomorrow, number one. Number two, Scott Brown was a candidate who had given 20 years of service in the state legislature. And so he was an individual who knew who he was. He knew where he stood on the issues. This guy has a campaign which evolves. I dare say he came into this race not expecting to win it, right, and not completely understanding who he was when he got the nomination.
Governor O'Neill, you've got a great voice for politics. You should go in it again. Thank you, Tommy O'Neill, former Lieutenant Governor up here, and Vicki Kennedy. You could have been a senator anytime you wanted. Thank you for being here. Vicki Kennedy. We'll be right back.